Namaste. Thank you for devoting your valuable time to view this presentation, prepared by the Hindu Temple of Tallahassee's governing body. Our main goal here is to provide accurate and detailed information to the community, directly from the governing body. You will get a complete idea of the work that has been done till date, what the governing body is proposing next, and what the future plan is. Finally, we want to present this information in a visually pleasing format. Our community's journey to build a temple began in earnest in 2013. A group of volunteers banded together to establish a solid foundation for the organization in 2014. Through the tireless efforts in 2015 and 2016, a site for our future temple was purchased. 2017 and 2018 were consumed with procuring all the required permits, and getting the approval for the site plan. Next immediate steps in 2019 and 2020 would be to complete the site work, and build a structure for starting prayers. 2020 and beyond, HTT will focus on constructing the main temple, and Indianization. Let's first look at the past. It all started in late 2013 and early 2014, when a first community meeting was held to explore whether building a temple in Tallahassee would be feasible, and to gather community's inputs. Next, Hindu Temple of Tallahassee was registered as a non-profit organization in Florida. A group of 27 volunteers joined to form an interim governing body to help bring a structure to our nascent organization. They developed and adopted the bylaws. Most importantly, the governing body prepared the necessary paperwork with IRS, and Hindu Temple of Tallahassee was approved as a 501c3 organization. This is a crucial step as we embark on future fundraising drives. Over the next 2 years, 2015 and 2016, we spent time researching on site requirements, and finally purchased a site in October 2016. We reached out to various temple organizations, big, small, and those in similar community size as Tallahassee. We asked them the lessons they learned, and solicited advice for a budding organization like ours, what steps we should take, what mistakes to avoid, etc. We also consulted sthapathies to familiarize ourselves with the vastu requirements of a temple. Based on these conversations, criteria for selecting a site for HTT were developed. These included vastu, site size, its location, safety in the neighborhood, zone for a temple structure, and price. Using these criteria as a basis, the volunteers and governing body scoured throughout Tallahassee and nearby vicinity in search of a perfect site. After close to 2 years of meticulous planning, this site was selected and acquired in October 2016. The HTT site is along Shares Cross Road between Buck Lake Road and Interstate 10. Few highlights. This site is 19.84 acres in size, of which 13.14 acres are usable for temple construction. The remaining 6.7 acres are in wetland, and per county rules, no construction is permitted in this area. The site cost was $225,000. This is an ideal location in a quiet and rural setting. One major advice from other temple organizations was to purchase more land than we currently envision. This would help avoid any future relocations. This site is large enough for anything we as a community can envision and plan for. The site is in close proximity to all Indian communities. It is vastu compliant. This site has steep grades from east to west, and results in minimal impact to site work costs. The last 2 years, governing body focused the efforts on procuring all required permits, and developing the site plan. First, a permitted use verification application was submitted. It tells us what type of development can be built on the site. Next, we conducted a lot of surveys. Boundary survey, for accurate site boundary. Topographic survey, for the detailed layout of the site, and for developing engineering plans later on. Natural features inventory, to identify all environmentally sensitive features on our site. Archaeological survey, to check if there are any cultural resources of importance here. HTT hired firms for providing professional engineering and architectural services, as well as conducting soil testing. For developing a site plan, the first step was to select the deities. This was accomplished by a community outreach and survey. Governing body reached out to the neighbors of our site, answered their questions, and ensured a smooth approval at public meetings. Next, we coordinated with sthapathies and architects to develop a layout for the temple. Finally, working with our engineering firm, we submitted the site plans for Leon County approval. All of these above tasks were time-consuming and tedious, as they required lot of coordination and deliberations. Culmination of all these efforts was: we acquired all required permits. We have an approved master site plan. And, we are ready to begin site work and construction. Based on community's input, the presiding deity at Hindu Temple of Tallahassee will be Lord Balaji, along with Bhudevi and Sri Devi. Our temple will also include 10 other deities, including Sri Shirdi Sai Baba, as main guru, along with other gurus. Let's get into the details of the site plan. The red box shows the boundary of our site. This is the conservation area, where no construction is permitted. These are the 2 stormwater ponds, required for collecting all the rainwater from our temple site. The proposed road layout would form a loop which covers 3.75 acres. Finally, the site plan includes 2 structures: main temple, which is a 2-story structure, with 11,500 square foot in total, and a 2,500 square foot, 1-story structure. The first floor of the main temple will be used as Guru Mandir, and will include kitchen and dining space, while the remaining deities will be housed in the second floor. The 2,500 square foot structure could be used for classrooms, or other purposes. This layout of the site plan is designed to be Vastu compliant, and has plenty of opportunity for future expansion. Now that we have a finalized and approved site plan, how do we turn that into reality? For that, we developed an implementation plan, both for the short term and long term. First step would be to complete the site work, which is required before any temple construction begins. This is estimated to cost $716,000, and we will give more details shortly. After the site work, the plan is to build a structure, and start prayers using Ashtamurthis. Depending on how much funds the community raises, the governing body will develop alternatives. The goal would be to build both the floors of main temple with a completed first floor, or build a smaller structure. All options will be explored and provided to membership. In the long term, 2020 and beyond, the plan would be to complete the second floor of the main temple, install main Murthis, and use the first floor as Guru Mandir. Final step would be to Indianize the main temple, install Rajagopuram, etc. Let's get into the details of site work. Prior to any construction, site development work is mandatory. When we buy a house, what we may not realize is that the site developer has already put in a lot of work: utilities, drainage, electricity connections, etc. Similarly, as an organization, we need to conduct all this work for starting the temple construction. The work includes rainwater retention ponds, electricity connections, water connections, driveway, roads and parking, drainage and septic system, landscaping. HTT approached 4 vendors for providing bids to complete the site work. Only 2 of them responded with bids. This highlights the difficulty of hiring a vendor for site work, when there is a lot of demand for construction in post-hurricane environment. HTT governing body selected the vendor with the lowest bid for completing the site work. Some of the line item costs from the vendor proposal are provided here. At the door-to-door campaign, and open houses conducted by HTT, community provided a lot of positive feedback. We thank the community for their encouragement, and continued support for this holy cause. Governing body explored various alternatives, and also considered inputs provided by community members. Some of the alternatives explored, and analyzed were: lease a facility to start prayers, deparcel the land, complete site work for small structure only. Based on our findings, these alternatives result in significant delay in temple construction and prayers on HTT site, up to 9 to 12 months delay, or result in minimal cost savings in the long term. Taking all of the above into consideration, HTT governing body is proposing the following next steps. First, commence the site work. For this, governing body requests members to approve spending authority at the special general body meeting on March 31st. Second, HTT governing body will assess the funds raised by community, and develop a plan for building a structure. Another special general body meeting will be convened later in 2019 to provide additional information. At the end of the day, it all boils down to funds. The success of all of our efforts and planning will be dependent on how much funds the community can raise in the future. To provide you a perspective, so far the community has donated over $900,000 to this holy cause. This goes to show the great confidence the community has in a temple being built in Tallahassee, sooner than later. Out of the total amount donated by the community, the governing body spent $225,000 on land, approximately $60,000 on engineering, architectural services and surveys, and approximately $18,000 for land clearing services. To raise funds for the site work and building a structure, governing body initiated a fundraising drive in December 2018. Over the last 4 months, the community raised $235,000 including signed pledges. With the clear goal of raising funds for site work and building a structure for starting prayers, governing body developed and began implementing a focused approach to fundraising drive. Conduct a door-to-door fundraising drive, focused on community members who have not been reached so far. Reach out to out-of-town friends and well-wishers. Reach out to other organizations and businesses. Conduct fundraising events. Develop effective online means to reach out to Hindu community at large, all around the nation. To sum it up, governing body, with help from subcommittee members and volunteers, have put in a significant effort over the last few years. Through extensive deliberations and meticulous planning, HTT developed a comprehensive plan with an incremental implementation approach. HTT developed this approach by talking to experts, sthapathis, engineers, county staff, other temple organizations, etc. Held multiple meetings and open houses to listen to the community's opinion. HTT explored various alternatives suggested by community members. HTT has been open and transparent in our approach. Finally, there is positive response and feedback from the community. HTT requests the community members to review the additional materials provided to you via email. Reach out to the governing body, ask questions, provide your suggestions. Participate in the upcoming special general body meeting, and eligible members to approve the spending authority for the site work. Most importantly, help raise funds. More on this in a future presentation. Finally, we want to hear your feedback, both positive and critical. Reach out to us via the email listed here. Spread the message by sharing this video. Thank you again for devoting your time and attention. Namaste.